Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. This is Cassie, and I hope you're having a great day. Let's get started. We're going to be making a light up card, so that means Easy Lights by Pearblossom Press. I love these. This is a 3-pack. I only have one left in there because I've been using them like crazy. We're also going to be using some sentiment stock. This stuff is amazing for sentiments, hence the name. And then we're going to be using these really cool products by Tailored Expressions. They're perfect for light ups. So this is the Mini Strips Watts Up stamp, and there's also a matching die. It's one big stamp, and then one die cuts them all out. We have these Love Lights foilets. I'm not going to use these today, but I wanted to show you how these coordinate perfectly with all the products I'm using. And then we also have the Love Lights stamp and stencil. So that's a combo. The stamp will stamp out all of the wiring, and then you have these cool 2-step stencils so that you can do different colors for your lights. All right, so let's get to stamping. I'm going to pull out my Misty, and I have this NiCapa standard grip mat. I've actually cut it down. It is a sticky mat. Those are all the rage right now. But I found this one on Amazon. This one was from an 8x12, but I'll have something linked down below for you so that you can get your hands on that if you're having a hard time getting your hands on some of the other ones that are out there. So now remember, this is a red rubber stamp, so you're going to need to take out the insides of your Misty. I've put my cardstock, which measures 4¼ by 5½ inches, or it's 4 inches by 5¼ inches. And I'm going to ink that up with some Simon Hurley Create Woof ink. It's a nice light gray ink, and I'm going to ink that up another time. Just making sure that I keep pushing down into the lower right-hand corner so that I can have this beautifully stamped. And then to peel it off, I found the easiest way is to turn it upside down and work it that way. And I'm going to do another one. But now I want to show you how you can use these sticky mats for your stenciling as well. So I'll put that piece down, and then I can just stick my stencil right down on top of that as well, and it'll hold everything in place. So I love that. And there are lots of options for these sticky mats. Amazon just has a ton of them. And mine was given to me, and it comes in a 3-pack. But they're pretty cool for lots of different things. So that color I used is called Slippery When Wet. So check that out. I'll just peel off that stencil, and we'll put down the second one. And I'm going to bring in some pinks. My first color is Rosy Cheeks, and I'm going to just ink that up. And what I like about these blender buddies that I am using is that they have a tiny tip. Well, not tiny, but it's smaller at the top and bigger at the bottom of the brush. So what I'm going to do is I can use this exact same brush, and I can just use the tip of it and use that darker color, which is called Prom Queen, and I can make sure that I am just getting the tip of my light at the very top. I love that. I think that's great. So I don't need a bunch of different brushes. This one brush will do the trick for all of those. All those things I need as far as blending goes. All right, so then I'll peel this back, and you can see the reveal. And I do another one as well, but check that out. See, flipping it over and peeling that away. And there I did do a blue and yellow one as well. Love how those turned out. So now we're going to make our sentiment. So again, I'm bringing out that Pearblossom Press sentiment stock. I'm going to put this on top of that sticky mat again, but before I do that, I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool because I just don't want to get any of that on the sticky mat if I can help it. I'll pop that down, pull out my stamp, and then stick that on top. Close the door of the Misty, and then I'm going to ink this up with some juicy embossing ink. That's just a clear sticky ink. And then I'll stamp that down. And then to pull this off, obviously I need to be a little bit careful, but I see if you just pull it off, it will wrinkle your page. So, it's not that big of a deal, but you don't always want that. So now I'm going to pull out some embossing powder. It's a fine detail white embossing powder, and I'll just cover all of my sentiments with it. But this really is a genius system because it's all those sentiments. And then I'm going to heat set these until those are smooth and melted, which again, that sentiment stock just makes it perfect. This has just become my go-to for black cardstock for sentiments. And then once that is all heated and cooled off, I can take my microfiber cloth and get rid of all the anti-static powder tool. Take the die and line it up using those squares. So those squares did have a purpose. So then I can tack that down with a little bit of mint tape, run that through my die cutting machine, and check it out. All those sentiments stamped and cut in no time. And I can save those for future cards. So I'll pull out the two that I want since I'm making 2 cards today. And once I'm happy with that, I'll put the rest of those in my storage container that I have for those. Now I do apologize, I have a little light bulb die and I can't find this anywhere in any store, so I don't have it linked down below, but I'm sure because you all are so creative, if this is something that you want to do or use, you could come up with something very, very similar. So I'm going to use my Copic markers and a little bit of mint tape on the back of that just to hold everything in place, and I'm going to color up these die cuts. Obviously I needed 2 of them, so I just die cut them out of white, and then I'm going to bring in my Copics to color each of the pieces. We're going with some warm grays for the lower part of the light bulb, and then our filament we're using, which is a heart, we're going to use some pinks. And then for the light bulb itself, I have some very light yellows that I'm using. I started with a dark color, and then I'm going to bring in that lighter color to blend that out. And now I'm going to attach these together. So I'll just use my reverse tweezers along with some liquid glue to adhere down the little pieces of our light bulb. And then when those are all done, we need to bring out a sentiment, which that comes from the Interactively Yours stamp set by Happy Doodle that is in the Pearblossom Press store. And check that out. I just put Push Me on there. And now we need to poke holes. So the lights I have 3 lights on them. So I'm going to poke holes through 3 of our light bulbs. And then I'm going to pull out that Easy Light, 1 left in this package. And then I'll pop that battery into place, lining up the plus sign with the plus sign. And there you go. It's just that easy to put it together. Now we'll flip this over and we're going to use some washi tape to hold everything in place. So I'll just take little pieces of washi tape and I'm going to line up each of those tiny lights inside the little hole that I poked, and then put some washi tape right up against that, just to make sure that they're staying in place. But I'm pushing that light through the hole. And I'll do that for all 3 of those. And then of course check it to make sure that everything is working correctly. And it is. I love that. And then now I need to decide where I want to put my mechanism. I like to put them up against the side, so that way if you ever want to replace the battery, the recipient can do that. So I'm going to use a little bit of score tape on the back of that, peel that off, and then stick that down where I want the button to be. And then we'll take that leftover washi tape that I have and wind all of our back up and just put that down. It is a hot mess back there, but no one's going to see it. It does not matter. So don't worry about that. You only worry about the placement of your lights and where your button is going to be. So now I'll take my light bulb, put a little liquid glue behind it so that the Push Me is right on top of our button. And then now I need some foam tape. So normal foam tape would work fine. You just have to double it up. But I have this stuff from Happy Doodle that Amanda has in the Pearblossom Press store. It is 3 millimeters deep. It is perfect for light up cards. It's also perfect for shakers. And so I'm just going to go around the perimeter of our card with this. This one is the 12 millimeter. I also have some 5 millimeter, but I'm just going to use the 12 millimeter. And then I'm just putting that, it doesn't matter if it goes over the top of your cords, as long as it doesn't go over the lights, you are good. You just want to make sure that your card is going to be stable going through the mail, so that it doesn't collapse in on itself. And then I'm going to attach down my sentiment to the front. You brighten my day. And then I have a card base ready to go. So that card base just measured 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and I am going to score that at 4.25 inches. And then we'll peel off all of the release paper on the back of our panel, and then we can attach this down to the front of our card base. Easy peasy, right? I'm telling you, when they say easy light, they mean it. And so there you have it. That finishes off our card for today. I'll show you the other one as well at the end of this. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button and definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.